Hi there. My name is Jordan Taylor, and I'm a Ministry Success Rep here at Ministry Designs. So you just purchased your brand new annual report template, and you want to start designing and inputting your own content. Hopefully this video can get you started on the right track. So I've already gone to my link to my site builder to start editing, and I want to go ahead and log in. Upon logging in, we immediately land in the Pages tab, and we can see that we have our entire annual report template already laid out in front of us here. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to run through the top tabs at the top of the screen kind of quickly and then swing back around, talk a lot about Pages, and finish off on the Design tab. So first things first is the Pages tab. The Pages tab is, I'd say, where you're going to spend probably 90 to 95% of your time when actually developing your annual report. So all of the physical makeup of your site will all be managed here. All of your text, images, everything that you are going to be editing for the physical body of the site will be on the Pages tab. Next up in the Design tab, we see that we have a couple of design options on the left-hand side, and this is actually where we have the ability to adjust the aesthetics and more of the design look of the site. So what I mean by that is the adjustment of different text styles, different colors on your color palette if you would like to brand this website to be the same color and branding colors as your church or ministry. You can also adjust specific widgets like button colors or button presets, image presets, or any other widget that you would like to adjust there. Next is the Media Library tab. The Media Library is simply a library where you have the ability to upload, store, and alter all of your media. So media is going to include images, MP3 audio files, MP4 video files, as well as like a PDF if you'd like to update PDFs to the media library and attach them to a button on the website. You have the ability to do so here. To upload, we have this lovely orange upload button in the top left corner. I can click that and then drag and drop files into the media library or just choose files directly from my desktop computer. While you do have an unlimited storage in the media library as a whole, there is a maximum upload file size limit of 55 megabytes per upload just to keep from uploading very large files into the media library and running down the servers and slowing down your loading speeds when someone visits your site. We can click on the All Items sections here to actually view all items that have been uploaded to the builder. So here we have a collection of different stock photos that you are welcome to use. You can also search by file type if you'd like to search specifically for a video or an audio file or even a PDF file. You have the ability to search specifically for those files, as well as create and edit folders. Also, if we were to click on any image here, you see if I click on the image, I now have my file properties on the right-hand side for that image or any other file that we choose. This includes the file URL, the date upon which it was uploaded, and the dimensions of that file. I also have the ability to click the edit option here, which pulls up my photo editor, which allows me to then add different filters or other editing tools that we can use to edit our images. I can even change the orientation, crop the photos, resize photos, play with coloring, sharpness, or any other editing tools, even if we want to go ahead and add a sticker on there, like so. So now if we were to go ahead and apply this and save this image, you will see that it will not actually overwrite the original image, but if we scroll down to the bottom, you will see that we have a brand new image down here. So we don't have to worry about overlapping existing images. We'll delete that for now. So the next tab is going to be the Settings tab. Scrolling over to the right-hand side. Now we see all of these settings and preferences for this specific website and for this specific website builder. So we have the website name, which you will want to change probably just to the name of your church or your ministry. We have the organization of your page title format, the website address, which is going to just be the dummy link for your annual report template for the time being. It will change once it goes live. We have website Favicon. So if we actually go to the top right of the screen, we can view the site and see that we have our Ministry Designs logo on the top here. So just if you would like to put your own individual logo in the tab, you have the ability to do so with the Favicon image here. And you can also adjust back to top buttons and your languages as well. We have updates available in the updates section. If there are any updates available for the builder, you will be able to upload them here. We do offer integration with Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free resource that you are welcome to use. If you go to google.com/analytics, you can sign up for a free account, and they will provide you with a tracking ID, which you can then copy and paste into that box here. And this will allow you to track the statistics of your website, like who's visiting your site, how long are they staying there, and where they even came from, which is very cool. If there are fonts that you would like to add into the builder, you can go to Settings, Fonts, and hit Add. From here, you will have the ability to then choose from hundreds of different integrated Google fonts. If you would like to see what these fonts look like and what their display is, you can go to fonts.google.com and find one there. And if you find it there, you should find it here because they are integrated in. So if I want to choose Barlow, for instance, choose my styles, hit Save, and then that would immediately be integrated into the builder for me to use. Circling back around, we can talk a little bit now about the Pages tab. So the Pages tab, again, is where all of the edits are going to take place on the website. So we can scroll through here and see that we have all these different sections to edit, and this is already built out for us and designed for you, as we've actually done most of the work, hopefully, that you will need to be done. I see that I have on my left-hand side the ability to add a pop-up if I choose to display more information via a pop-up on the site. Also, if I can click on the pop-ups here, I can manage them as well. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have the Page Properties menu. Here we have the ability to check out the name of our page and the meta title and descriptions for some SEO tools, as well as go to Design and change the background style if you have different backgrounds you would like to add into this setting, to this builder. Upon clicking into the center staging area that we have here, I will do so. You now see on the right-hand side, we actually have a content menu that is going to come up for any specific piece of content that I click on. If I click on an image, I now see that I have a content menu on the right-hand side for that image with all of these settings for that image on the right-hand side, like design settings or space. Or if I click on this button, now my button is highlighted with this blue tab. I now see that I have a content menu on the right-hand side for that button with all of my settings for that button located there as well. As a general rule for the builder, no matter what you click on, whether it be a row, a container, a button, a text box, it will always be a content menu on the right-hand side with all of these settings for you to use. So keep that in mind when you are editing. If I would like to return back to where I was to my page properties and get out of edit mode, I can go to the top right of my screen, either save my changes or cancel my changes, which I will do in this case. When you cancel, it will revert back to the last time the site was saved. I'll hit yes. And now we're back to normal again, and I have page properties on the right-hand side. Once again, if I click into the builder to go into edit mode, I now see that on the left-hand side of my screen, I have my blocks and widgets menu. With my blocks, we actually have full sections built out on the page already to save you from building out full pieces of content. So if we scroll down, and maybe you would like to add in a testimonials section of your website, all that's needed to do is click on the testimonials block, click, and drag in, and let it go. And now we see that we have a full block pre-built for you with testimonials. You can then click on the carousel or the text on the inside, and then choose to edit and put in your own information. Same thing as if maybe you would like to put in a Contact Us section beneath. We can grab the Contact Us section, click, and drag in. Now we have our own personal content section when we can now contact and show a Google map as well. If you would like to delete blocks, you will see at the top of every block that there is this blue tab, and you can actually click the delete option to delete it out of the website. Also, upon clicking into edit the builder, you will see that we can also choose the widgets menu on the left-hand side. And here we have the ability to actually choose from all of our individual widgets and tools that are located inside of the website builder. So these are subcategorized in different categories for you. The top of these are going to be structure with our rows and containers. Next, we have basic, text boxes, images, buttons. Underneath, we have image galleries, carousels, grid galleries, sliders. All social media platforms are located here. Video and audio players are located here. And at the very bottom, we have a collection of more. So things like third-party applications can be embedded in with an HTML widget here. Google Maps, countdown timers, accordions, tabs, even an automatic pop-up widget if you choose to use these, and of course progress bars to show statistics. If we go to the top of the widgets menu, we see that we have rows and containers. The rows and containers are what are going to provide the structure and layout of the actual website itself. If we look to the top of the Pages tab, we do see that we have these responsive icons where we can actually choose to jump between different platforms that the site will actually be viewed on. So we actually have a desktop computer, a tablet, a horizontal cell phone, and a portrait mode cell phone. It is important to keep these in mind as you're going through the site to make sure that everything in the site responds properly and we look good across all different platforms, as many people nowadays are going to be viewing your site mobilely instead of on a desktop computer. While hovering around the Pages tab, while hovering around the staging area, you will see that everything that I hover over here has its own little blue structure tab. So this structure tab gives me a couple of different options. First off, I can duplicate whatever I have selected by clicking it and hitting the piece of paper to duplicate. And this will keep the formatting the exact same of whatever I duplicate. And I can also even delete with that red X. Of course, I can even grab a row and take a row and duplicate an entire row of information and keep it the exact same simply by clicking the duplicate option. Even if you wanted to go to the top of an entire block, you can scroll down and click the little duplicate option right here as well on the block. And you see the entire block will actually be duplicated as many times as you need. And you can then swap out information and design anything that you need to design. Also, if we click on our structure tab here, and we see that we have the 6 dots, if I click those 6 dots, this will actually reveal to me what's called my structure tree, which shows me in descending order the layout of my content on the page. So I see I currently have a text box here that is inside of this row, that is inside of this block, which is then inside of the content area as a whole. Same thing here. If we check, we have an image. This image is inside of this row, which is inside of another row, which is then inside of the block, which is in the content area as a whole. So that's very important to use from time to time if you're going through the site and maybe you want to figure out, well, what's the layout of the page? Maybe I can just grab this text box here, check my structure tab, and I see my structure tree says, okay, I have 2 rows, a row here and a row there, and it is all inside of this block. So at the top of the widgets menu, we have these structure widgets. These are going to consist of rows and containers. If we're going to be jumping down from screen sizes all across different platforms, we need to make sure that we have a good layout and pretty much skeletal system of the site to keep all the content together. And that's what these rows and containers provide. So while we do have all these blocks for these entire sections of the page, the row here is actually going to divide up the space on the page and allow us to put the content where we'd like to put it. So for instance, we see that we have this big block up top, and then on the interior here, if I hover over, we see that we have a row. So I can select the row a couple of different ways. If you hover on the outsides in blank space, generally the row will be picked up. And you see I'm hovering over right now because I see that the blue tab there says row. But also another way is simply to click on the dotted lines of the row columns. So I will do that here. And now you see the row is highlighted with that light blue line around the outside. I have my structure tab at the top saying that I have a row selected, and then I have a row in my content menu on the right hand side. So here I can actually adjust all the row structure and settings for the specific row. So I can actually set this to have 4 columns all the way up to 6 or 5 or back to 3 again. If we come back down here, we see that we can click on this row, and we see that this row actually has the option for width. Whenever you drag in a new row, it will automatically come set as what's called fluid. So if I click fluid and I actually expand out by clicking these arrows at the bottom, you will see that now the content will stretch wall to wall of the site, which kind of leads to a more dated look. So most of the time with text and images, we highly recommend setting your rows to be fixed, which gives them these nice margins on the right and left side. So once you have your row width the way that you would like it, of course, then we have row structure where you can once again play with different columns and adjust the size of those columns by actually grabbing the dotted lines between and clicking and dragging. And you can see that I can actually manipulate the size of these images and the size of these columns by clicking and dragging like so. Now the containers actually give you the ability to create full sections of the page where you can control the background image, background video, background color, or even add a border if you would like. Odds are you will not very often have to use the containers, given we've actually created these blocks for you. But if you ever do want to create a new section of the page, you can click on the container, hold it, and drag it in, and go in between the two sections to find that thick green line. Here I know that I've dropped it in a brand new section. It's not inside of any block, but it's by itself in the content area. So here, if we go to the content menu on the right hand side for that container, click design, and we have the option of choosing color. If I maybe want to make it this blue, now we have a blue container, or maybe a green. I also have the ability of putting an image in the background or a video if I choose. If I click on image, I can then put an image in the background from my media library. We'll choose this image here, hit apply. And then we can also go down to image size and choose the cover and play with any position settings as well. If you want to expand more information in this container, you can then put your rows in and your different text and content to actually expand the container to be larger. Underneath the structure widgets, we have basic widgets here. And from here, I have the ability to actually use text boxes, images, buttons, space, or any other day-to-day uses. And from here, I have the ability to actually use text boxes, images, buttons, space, or any other day-to-day widgets that you might use. To edit in any text box, you can simply click into the text box and type away, whatever you choose. But you also have the ability to drag in new text box widgets as well. If I want to go ahead and click and drag a text box into this section here, you see I'm putting it inside of this row outlined in orange, and the thin green line tells me where I'm putting it. I drop it right there. I now have a text box. And from here, you can go ahead and type in whatever content that you would like to input into the site. When you click into a text box, the text box toolbar pops up with all of your different editing possibilities. So you have bold, italicized, underline. You can play with alignment. If you would like to hyperlink text, you have the ability to click the link option and choose where you would like to link this text. You also have the ability to insert icons from our icon list here, which will actually include a search bar to search. And we even have social media links here like Facebook. We have the undo and redo, the ability to change the color of your text, and then we actually have a remove format option here. This is very important because it has to do with text styles. So many times, if we go ahead and drag this text up here, many times people will say, well, I want to make this a title of this section, so I'll go ahead and take my text box, center it, and I'll throw the font size up to 72. So while this text may not look terrible on a large screen like I have here at my office, if I actually shrink this down, you see the issue is that this will no longer respond to the size of the screen because of the fact that I've changed the font size. When you adjust the font size of text, it will override the text style and it will no longer respond to the size of the screen. So as a general rule, we actually highly recommend that you never touch the font size option, but rather use text styles. So what I'll do in this case is I'll go ahead and remove all formatting, and then I'm going to run down Textiles menu and find a nice text style that I like. We'll go with heading medium. And you notice that when I adjust the text style, it will adjust the color, the font, the size, and the responsiveness, and even the styling like italicized or underlined or bold, all with the text style. So then if I go down to the mobile view now, we see that we have a title still, but it will actually adjust to the size of the screen and grow and shrink accordingly. Next, we have the image widget. You can click on any image and simply swap out the image with an image of your own if you would choose. So say if we have an image that you'd like to display here, simply click on the image, hit the edit option in the content menu, and grab an image from your media library. If you'd like to add in a new image, you can simply grab an image widget, click and drag in, place it where you would like. And upon releasing your mouse, once again, the media library pops up, and we can even choose all items to find a good image to upload. We'll go ahead and choose this one here. Now I see that this image has been uploaded to the builder. And if I click on the image itself, I can head to the content menu on the right, where I can adjust linking properties. I can add space all around the outside if I choose. Maybe I'll put some space on top to add a little bit of padding, like so. And of course, I can go to design and change different image presets. This one is circular. This one has a hover effect, and so on. Next up, we have buttons. You will see buttons all over your annual report template. These are simply used for calls to actions, like donation to missions or other funds that you may need, or simply to navigate you elsewhere, like an outside URL or anywhere else on your site. If I click on a button here, for instance, we will use this button. Double-clicking on the button itself, you can actually type in whatever you would like to type in for the button to display. We'll undo that. Also, if you go to the content menu for that button, you see that we have the same linking properties that we have with text and with images. You can adjust the button size, small, medium, or large. You can add space around the outside, and of course, you have the ability to align the button left, right, or center in its column. We can also go to Design, and we have different presets for these buttons. This one happens to be white. This button is dark blue. This button is all white. And this one here is blue with a little arrow. You have the ability to design all of these presets as well in the Design tab. If you would like to edit the background of a block, like for instance here, where we have this background that scrolls through with a parallax image, you can actually select the block itself and go to the content menu on the right-hand side. Here, we see that if we go to Design, we have the background image set up with this block. If you would like to display a different image here instead of these people here, you can of course upload it to your media library, hit Edit, scroll through and maybe find an image that you would prefer. In this case, we can go ahead and hit All Items, and we will choose a nice large image that we can find. How about that one there? We'll hit Apply, and now you see that that image is being displayed and it scrolls right through the site the same way. So you want to make sure that you have a nice large image for these backgrounds because we don't want them to be stretched out and pixelated. Moving on to the Design tab now. We can click Design, and we don't want to save any changes, so we'll go ahead and skip over that. Now, moving on to the Design tab, we can click Design on the top of the screen. And here we have our Design tab. Similarly set up with a staging area and the responsive icons. We can view the page live to maybe take a look at how it's looking on a full page. And of course, we have the ability to now see our drop-down menu on the left-hand side and our design options. Underneath this, we have Textiles, which is the first design option. And here we have an entire list of all the textiles that we have available in the builder. These have been preset and customized for you. These have been preset and customized for you for this specific template, but you do have the ability to customize these any way that you would like. The easiest way to customize a textile is simply by clicking on the piece of text that you'd like to edit. So if we click on Annual Report, we see that the builder automatically pulls up heading large, and we can change the color to red, and you see that Annual Report changes. Even if we want to change the font to Georgia, we now see that we have a completely different text style. You have the ability to save or to cancel these changes, which we will do. Be careful before you save, because if you do save, you cannot undo it. You have to manually change it back. Same thing down here. If we click on Letter from Pastor, I can change the font, maybe to put it to Georgia, and we'll even make it bold italic. And now we see that letter. And now we see that Letter from Pastor has changed. What if we scroll down? Weekly attendance is now changed. Salvations and baptisms have changed. And as well as any other text box on our annual report site that is assigned to that textile is going to change the same way. Same thing if we go ahead and cancel our changes here and click on this body text. This happens to be small text. So if we change small text, and we'll make this one maybe Open Sans, and we'll make it extra bold italic. And now you see that all over the site, we're going to have extra bold italic text that's going to change everywhere that it's assigned. This way, it saves you a lot of time to be able to simply design a text style rather than have to go through and design every single individual text box to match. Next up, we have our color palette. I can click Colors here, and this gives us our main color palette for this specific site. So the color you choose is the main color here in the middle. You are provided with 2 shades darker and 2 shades lighter by the builder, simply for variations of tone. If I click on the color at the top, I can actually choose a different color. So if your brand maybe has a light green color, you can see that we can hit OK. And now everything that once was that light blue is going to now be this light green. Same thing if I go ahead and change these colors here. Maybe I'll make this one a bright red orange. And we'll get real crazy and make this magenta. And we'll get real crazy and make this a magenta. We'll even top it off with some more colors here. So with that, you can see that we have completely changed the entire feel of this annual report template. Do be careful though, because as you can see, it is quite easy to take apart what was a very nice template at one point recently. So again, if you would like to save your changes, you can. In this case, I would not recommend it. So we can go ahead and hit cancel at the bottom left. Upon doing so, we are back to normal where we were. So it is very easy to brand your colors a specific way if you would like to brand the colors of the website to your church or ministry's branding colors. Next, we have more colors down here. And these are just an additional color palette for you. If you like to have maybe like a light blue or a teal included on the site, you can put it on OK. You can click OK and put it on your more colors at the bottom. And when you're in the Pages tab, you can just assign that to whatever you need. You also have the ability to edit the background of the website if you'd like. Right now it's currently white, but if you'd like to maybe make it a different color, you have the ability of changing the background color of the site. We actually recommend keeping this a white or a light gray just to keep that modern look and clean feel that is provided when you jump on. Don't be afraid of white space. White space is one of the best things you can have on a website as it gives the content room to breathe, has a very clean, fresh, and modern look to it. Size and values. This gives you the ability to actually edit those small spacings all the way up to large spacings that you see in the Pages tab. So if you ever need to edit the size of those automatic spacings, you have the ability to here, but odds are you won't have to simply because you can use the space widget, and these are already preset for the specific template. Lastly, finishing off, we have the widgets. So here's where you have the ability to actually adjust all the presets of different widgets in the builder. For instance, if we go ahead and click on this image right here, you will see that this image is assigned to image preset number 4. So if I would maybe like to change the border color on this preset to be red, I can make it red, and maybe I'll go to hover and have the border hover green. Now you see that this preset is going to be green, red and green, but so is this preset, and also is any other preset on the website that's going to be assigned to preset number 4. Like so. Same thing is if we click on a button, we actually see that automatically preset 1 is pulled up for that button. We can adjust the font if we like to maybe put it to Georgia yet again, and maybe make the font color black instead of white, and change the background to this light purple. And now we see that we've changed the settings for that button, as well as this button that we have down here, because these are assigned to the same preset, preset 1. So this has been the introductory training on how to get in and start building out your annual report template. I would highly recommend taking advantage of our blocks tool, as it is very easy and useful to set up for yourself, and maybe try putting in some own information, upload your images, change out the text, and try to keep the integrity of the template as best as we can. We've built these for you to help make your lives easier and simply be able to throw in your content and edit anything that you need. For more questions, of course, be willing to reach out to Ministry Designs for support, but also be sure to check out the Help Hub, where we have in-depth videos and analysis on how to accomplish specific tasks in your annual report template. Thanks. Have a great day.